never said yes to community. It was the hell, like you said, oh, yes, that told me.
When I say you, are we all? Hey, Madam Chair, we are recording.
Today and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Guam Land Use Commission, Thursday, April 10th, 2025. I'd like to, it is now 1:30 p.m. I'd like to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Begin with roll call. Anita Enriquez, Chair, myself, President, Commissioner Bldg Flores, Commissioner Ron Pangolin, present. Thank you. Executive Secretary, Mr. Joe Borja is absent and excused. Deputy Director Crystal, present. Thank you. Our legal counsel attorney, present. Thank you. Chief Planner Cruz, present. Thank you. I see his planning staff right here. We do have a quorum. We shall proceed. The meeting is being live streamed this afternoon via our YouTube at Guam Department of Land Management channel. The next order of business is the approval of minutes. Before the commission today is the Guam Land Use Commission regular meeting minutes of Thursday, March 13th, 2025. The members have been given an opportunity to receive a copy in advance via email for their review. I'll go ahead and entertain a motion for action.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the Thursday, March 13th, 2025 meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner Flores. Do I hear a second? Thank you, Commissioner Pangolin. Any discussion on the minutes, any errors or omissions? There being none, all in favor of approving the minutes of March 13, 2025, please signify by saying aye and raising your right hand. Aye, thank you. It is unanimous. The minutes of March 13, 2025 are approved. Okay, the next order of business under old or unfinished business, I see there are none, so I shall proceed to item 4, new business. We do have before the commission a conditional use application, application number 2024-30, the applicant, Bldg Gozum Construction LLC, represented by Daniel D. Swavely, requests a conditional use permit to allow for the operation of a temporary workforce housing facility within a warehouse to house up to a maximum of 2 workers on lot 5048-4 in the municipality of Tamuning in an M1 light industrial zone. Case planner for this is Mr. Frank Titano. I welcome, see Mr. Swavely, to the microphone, for your presentation, and for the record, please state your name and you may proceed.
Thank you. My name is Terrance Swavely. I'm representing Bldg Gozum Construction, and I'm joined by Kyle Borhoff. Yes, another temporary workforce housing facility. They continue to remain a popular land use in our Guam land use planning landscape. We have done, Kyle and I have done now 8 or so, and we have a few more coming. We still have a big gap between. We still have a big gap between the number of workforce housing beds, so to speak, and the number of employees for H2 workers on Guam. My calculations are we are still occupying close to 300 private housing units on Guam with H2 workers. So that's a gap that we are working to fill. With respect to Bldg Gozum, this is their second workforce housing facility. You approved one last year in the Bellow Road area for 200 maximum capacity. This one is located at Scambaluri Lane. Now, Scambaluri Lane, let me point out here on the vicinity map, I could orient everyone. This is Micronesia Mall, right here. This is Marine Corps Drive. And then down here we have the Shell station, and here is, let me see, here is the Shell station, here is Wendy's, this is Scambaluri Lane. It's a hard right turn. If you're going up Marine Corps Drive, it's the last hard right turn before Route 16. Yeah. That's dead end right here. And that red triangle is the project site subject of today's application. The site is an existing warehouse that Gozum's bought it about almost 2 years ago now, and their intent is to keep about 1/3 of it as warehousing and convert the other 2/3 into workforce housing for a maximum of 200 workers. Let me quick run through the footprint. Pretty conventional footprint of a workforce housing facility. We've seen lots of them by now. We have lots of barracks, lots of cafeteria tables, many restrooms, many gang showers, lots of washers and dryers inside. We also have a number of interior recreation facilities which are required, ping pong tables, internet lounge, right? TV lounge, things like that. So we pretty much know what make workers happy at this point. On the outside, we have your typical patio benches, barbecue, another car, barbecue, landscaping, ingress, egress, basketball court, staff parking, closed trash. All this, of course, gets vetted at the public hearing stage of the project. Do we have any other? Yeah, there's an elevation, nothing pretty. It's an existing warehouse that, as I mentioned, we are retrofitting.
You have like the interior.
Yeah. Restrooms, washer dryers, dining room, there you go. Pretty typical, yeah. Anyway, public health has the final hammer on its occupancy permit. Now, let me quickly review the process that we've gone through, and thank you to Frank and the planning staff for counseling us throughout this process. As you know, there are technically 4 public hearings for every application like this. We found they went pretty clear, not a lot of problems. We worked closely with the Municipal Planning Council during their 2 sponsored public hearings, as well as their follow-up regular meetings. As is the case with most public hearings, we learn things from the neighborhood, right? And then we change the project to adjust. I always say, I've never started an application mistake that I ended. It always changes, and with respect to those changes that come from the public, they're always better changes. In this case, let me quickly tell you about three, which we have already accepted as conditions of your approval. Yeah. So one of the comments that came up was, as you come down Scambalori Lane here, it dead ends right here, yeah. It should have a cul-de-sac there. That's the way we build them these days. It should have a cul-de-sac, or at least a T. It has not. So the question was, how does a fire truck turn around with this down there, right? It's a legitimate question. This came up from the public, right? How does it turn around? Well, I don't know. I don't know. So I worked with Chief Artero from GFD, and he took a fire truck down there, right? And he tried to turn it around. He couldn't do it. So what we agreed to do is we will improve this little natural area, which should have been a cul-de-sac, but it's not a cul-de-sac. It in itself is not wide enough to turn around. We tried that. So we're going to relocate our perimeter fence, the existing perimeter fence, so that we can accommodate that turnaround for a fire truck or any ambulance, any emergency vehicle down there. Okay, that's number one. We agreed to that condition of approval. Secondly, Chief Artero noticed, who wouldn't, there are 10 or so abandoned vehicles along Scandaluri, right? And of course, they're kind of in the roadway and in people's yards and this and that, but all of it is within the 40-foot line. All right, and Artero, Chief said, can you do anything about this? Well, you know, from our previous applications, especially my applicant, we've removed dozens and dozens and dozens of abandoned vehicles with our projects in the past, and we will do the same here, okay? We will be responsible for removing them. Thirdly, another public hearing comment. When you come out Scambaluri here, again, this is Wendy's. This is a right angle, right, 90-degree turn. But think of this when you're driving up Marine Corps Drive. You're coming this way, and you're coming pretty fast because there's not a lot going on in here, right? And it's a curve. And this is a little bit blind when you're coming out here. By the time you get to this point, you can only see to about here, right? And so it's not a good situation. It's not a good situation if you have a small car. Well, what are we going to be having? We're going to have 16, 20 passenger vans mostly going in and out there, right? So the idea is that within the right of way, within the sidewalk area, we would flare out that intersection, okay? So that it would be easier for a car or a van, in our case, to come out and kind of take that right turn already before you get out into the outside travel lane of Marine Corps Drive, right? Likewise, coming in, you have an easier ingress. So that's the idea. We laid it out generally. I did for a sketch. Then I worked with our review committee representative, Mary Rose Wilson, DPW, as well as the DPW right-of-way specialist, Terrance Brooks. Explained it to them. We went up there, we looked at it. They agreed. They supported that that should be done, all within the right-of-way. We're not taking any property from Wendy's or anything. Yeah, okay, we can do it. The next step, of course, is getting Vince Ariola's okay to do it. And the letter, the request is going to him very shortly. He's now expecting it after our workup, and I expect him to approve it. And then we'll figure out with Public Works who will pay for it or who will do it, right? I'm pretty sure Public Works is going to say we don't have any money to do anything. Or we have money, but it's already obligated. So we'll probably end up having to do it. But of course, I would be looking for some help for Public Works, you know, like waive the encroachment permit fee or something like that, right? Because it is a public improvement and it should have been done, frankly, when Marine Corps Drive is wide like that. So those are the three conditions of approval that arose during our public hearing process. We set them all. As far as other neighborhood benefits, we are obligated by virtue of the GWA position statement to upgrade the, right now, there's a bunch of residents along Scandaluri, including some semi-industrial. It's only a 1 1/4 inch water line. Okay, it's not enough. So we're gonna upgrade that to 6 inches, and we're gonna put a fire hydrant down at the end here. So that's good for the neighborhood. Furthermore, GWA is requiring us to upgrade our wastewater connection. We don't know exactly which direction they want us to go, but we'll work it out, and we're not gonna get a connection permit until we fill that set, right? Lastly, Public Works is requiring us to improve our stormwater retention system. This is an old building. There are some crazy swales and ditches up there where stormwater, it kind of percolates now, but not really well. So we're going to improve that according to the Public Works standards. Gozum needs this. They have about 250 to 300 employees right now. They have already sufficient for 200 that are on the way. They'll basically go up to the Bell Road area. They are petitioning for another 200, as you might recall from the last presentation. Gozum specializes in interior and exterior painting and roof water coating, industrial epoxy coatings. A lot of their work is on Anderson Air Force Base at hangars and other base facilities. For Guam, they redid the Upper Tucson water tank and a couple of wastewater facilities in the area repainted. And privately, you would probably identify with, they painted the exterior of Don Donkey, exterior and interior of Subaki. And 2 years ago, the interior renovation of the house. So they're busy, they're growing. It's good for all of us. They do good work, or they wouldn't be growing. And we ask for your support in this conditional use application. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Swavely. To my colleagues on the commission, do you have any questions? I don't have any questions. I now turn the floor over to Chief Planner Cruz for a presentation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be reading the staff report dated March 14, 2025 for application number 2024-30. Bldg Gozum Construction LLC is seeking approval for a conditional use permit to establish a TWHF on lot 5048-4 in Tamuning. The property is located at the end of Scandalary Lane in Upper Tucson, and the lot area is 1 acre and is currently zoned M1 with an existing warehouse. The master plan designation is mixed use, and the community design plan designation is medium high density urban residential, and there was no previous commission action. The application was accepted on May 29, 2024, heard by the ARC on July 2nd, 2024, and a public hearing was held on January 14, 2025. And the results included a letter of opposition from Grace Russell. And in addition, concerns were raised regarding Scandalary's lane's ability to accommodate emergency vehicles. The applicant is committed to consulting with the Fire Bureau, DPW, and the Mayor's Office to address these concerns. Onto staff analysis, the facility is designed to house up to 200 workers with sleeping quarters, toilets and shower facilities, laundry services, food services, security, medical care, transportation, and both active and passive recreational spaces. Additional features include parking for regular vehicles and vans, landscaping, barbecue area, basketball court, and a garden. A fence and a storm water mitigation system will also be installed. The existing warehouse measures 23,703 square feet. The TWHF will occupy 15,793 square feet, and a mezzanine will be added, increasing the total size of the TWHF to 28,471 square feet. The remaining space will remain a warehouse. Access to the site is provided by a 40-foot wide easement that connects to Route 1. The applicant has worked with various government agencies and local entities to address potential impacts on neighboring properties. The following measures have been proposed. The facility will be connected to the public water and sewer system, and the applicant must make upgrades to meet GPA's infrastructure requirements. The existing stormwater retention system on site will manage runoff, and landscaping will further reduce heat and runoff while enhancing the aesthetic value of the facility. The applicant has provided a set of house rules outlining security and safety practices, including access and exit procedures and personal conduct codes for residents. In conclusion, based on the applicant's compliance with the zoning laws, the positive outcome of the public hearings, the Municipal Planning Council's approval and feedback from relevant agencies, The proposed use aligns with the community's existing and future land uses. The applicant has committed to ongoing consultations with government agencies to ensure compliance with all requirements. Lastly, on to recommendation. We recommend approval with the following conditions. A, that the applicant must adhere to the conditions and requirements outlined in the ARC permitting agency's official position statements. B, the initial approval shall be granted for 24 months, subject to annual renewal in accordance with Section 61309 of Chapter 61, Title 21 GCA. C, that the applicant must comply with conditions outlined in the Tamuning Municipal Planning Council Resolution number 2025-002. And Madam Chair, at the discretion of the Chief Planner, we'd like to add another condition, which would be D, that the TWHF will house a maximum of 200 workers. And this concludes the staff report.
Thank you very much, Ms. Swavely. To my colleagues, do you have any questions for staff? I don't have any questions as well. I now open up the floor for public comment.
I do have one follow-up comment down here.
So we don't see any hands raised. Would you like to proceed?
We can close public meeting.
I'm going to close public comment for now, and then I will just open the floor, Mr. Swavely.
Thank you. This always happens when I give my presentation and then the staff paper comes later. You know, I'm not quite sure what's coming, right? But as it is, it is. Two things. I know that the commission has a carte blanche approval usually with ARC recommended conditions, right? That's something we always see. In this case, there are two agencies' position statements which I challenged. Real quickly, I challenged the Bureau of Statistics and Plans, Plans and Statistics and Plans, with respect to several of their conditions of approval for which they have absolutely no authority to make such conditions of approval. They are requiring us to follow certain guidelines, even one from the Caribbean. And yeah, it just went all over the place. So I challenged a few of those, and I got a response back from Matthew Santos, who wrote the original one, and he deleted those ones that they do not have authority for. I thank him for that, and so I would ask the commission in your carte blanche all conditions of approval recommended by ARC, with the exception of Bureau of Planning, because they have filed an unupdated position statement. Now, if your condition of approval is all their conditions of approval, including the updated one, I'm fine with it, but not the original one, because it's, yeah. Let me go through the second one real quick. Department of Agriculture was another one, and I challenged this to Chelsea Williams. They are requiring that we do some sort of migratory bird study to make sure that we don't affect migratory birds, flocks, and this and that. And my God, we're in the middle of one of the most developed areas of Guam, right? We have a warehouse that's been there for 20-some years. I just don't see how migratory bird studies come into our purview. And then also some condition about making sure that we replace all of our landscaping with native trees and things like that. And we really don't have any landscape. Right now. We're going to do some, right? And I just asked Director Munia to please back off a little bit on those things, because it looks like no one from agriculture has ever gone to the site, frankly, and walked around and said, oh, this is where it is, right? I don't think we have a migratory bird problem. So I asked her to do that. She said she would review it and respond. Yeah, right. But I didn't get that yet from her. So I can probably live with agricultures, because I just won't do them. And then when the permit goes through with them, they won't require it anyway. That's all. The fact of the matter is, we should get this stuff straight. between the applicant and the regulatory ARC committee members that just keep throwing, adding things like that, that they have no authority for, that don't pertain to the project. That's wrong. So that's why I put this down on this. So if you will please just, I'm asking this, that your carte blanche and all ARC position statement, conditions of approval, B, make sure that for your planning, it is the updated one. And I can live with agriculture, but I shouldn't have to, but she hasn't this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Swavely. Chief Planning Bruce.
Yes, Madam Chair, we do have an updated position statement from the Bureau of Statistics and Plans. We're just actually having it officially received. We just received it via email. So what we would include in the application file would be this updated position statement. And then when the permit plans come through, we would base it off their updated position statement.
Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Thank you, Mr. Swavely. And
Could I also
Yes.
add into the,
Mr. Titan, yes.
based on, I've been around for, anyway, based on historical, right, the way it works is that when the commission approves an application, generally subjecting it to the conditions of the ARC. It does that negotiation, which is what Mr. Swavely is doing with it, does not stop, right? It continues until the actual permit is given, right? During that time, those positions, right, or those conditions are looked over, and the applicant and the government agency will therefore negotiate or determine based on the plans and the applicable provisions of their statute, right? And ultimately, the conditions of the agency's approval are that are applied to that particular project approved by the commission change. They're always not the same. So yes, we will ensure that if the Bureau of Planning Decision Statement Institute and Agriculture, should they submit their revised, make it available should it be a point of concern by the permitting agencies. It's always been a known process, that the commission's approval is in its conceptual states, and until the detailed plans are, those conditions are with a high probability that it will change. And we will monitor it and be there to assist the applicant if the need comes.
Very fair. Thank you.
Thank you. So it sounds like there's still a bit of fluidity.
Yeah.
After the commission has gone ahead and take action based on the recommendations and any corresponding amendments that have been addressed at the commission meetings or everything. So
It's a good system. It's a good system. Just with these adjustments, it'll be a better system. Thank you.
And then the bottom line is that all of these adjustments are documented throughout the case file. So if what's presented to the commission looks a little different in the end, we have supporting information based on the application review committee's permit level review for those adjustments of those conditions. It'll be in the case file. So
I think it's good to have the historical document trail to coincide with such applications. Thank you very much. I now turn it over to my colleagues to entertain action on application number 2024-30.
I make a motion to approve application number 2024-30 based on the recommendation stated on the March 14th staff report.
Thank you very much. Motion made by Commissioner Flores. Do I hear a second?
can I
sorry.
can I ask the maker of the motion to include the additional provision that states the maximum number of workers of 200?
based on the conditions stated in the March 14, 2025 staff report, also to include the recommendation for the max applicant or the max capacity for the TWHF would be 200.
Thank you very much. Motion made by Commissioner Flores. Do I hear a second? Thank you very much, Commissioner Pangilinan. Any discussion on the motion? There being none, all in favor of approving the motion application number 2024-30, please signify by saying aye, raising your right hand. Aye, it is unanimous. The application is approved. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Very welcome. The next item on the agenda is item 5, administrative and miscellaneous matters. Before the commission, we have an application, a horizontal property routine, application number 1992-56D. The applicant, PIA Marine Condominium Homeowners Association, represented by Attorney Terrance Brooks, is requesting to amend an existing HPR for the PIA Marine Condominium to consolidate 2 separate existing HPRs for the same building on lot 5089-1-13R condominium to lot 5089-1-13R-1 and lot 5089-1-13R-R1 in the Municipality of Tamuning under HPR number 85 and HPR number 85A. The case planner for this is Chief Planner Cruz. I welcome the applicant's representative to the table. For the record, please state your name.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. It's Terrance Brooks. Gozum Construction LLC. I'm here today with Mr. Chris Felix, a well-known realtor. Century.
Thank you very much. You may proceed.
Thank you very much, Chairman Lucas, and also thank you to City Improvements who gave us a lot of assistance for this kind of complicated issue that we're dealing with. To begin with, the original PIA Marine Condominium consisted of 1/2 condominiums and 1/2 hotel. Fortunate part about that was 1/2 of those condominiums, you basically made up 100% ownership for that, just half of a building. So when the other apartments were converted from a hotel to a condominium, they gave them another 100%. So basically you have a building with 200% ownership, if you want to look at it that way. So, originally we've been hoping to just consolidate into one condominium that had all of the percentage of ownership divided up into 100. But because the law requires that to do that, you would have to get the consents of all of the homeowners and all of the mortgage holders. But that was pretty much an impossible task. So working with Celine, we devised a plan to separate the 2 100% ownerships into a phase 1 and a phase 2. So that way we were allowed to keep the ownership interests the same, not upset the banks and mortgage holders, and at the same time allow the condominium to be operated under a single HPR, which was just confusing before it had the 85 and 85A. So this basically was submitted to cure that issue. There were some other issues as well. There was a commercial space, which was really not even included in the original HPRs. So we have formally recognized those commercial units. There was also another issue in that 2 units that were in the hotel space was converted to condominiums were kind of forgotten about. This was an office and a gym. And those units have been converted into condominiums. So now if you look at the HPR, we have two, phase one and phase two, which have 100% ownership and addresses the commercial units and it has addressed the ownership issues and condominium will not be operated, which it is basically now in one homeowners association. Each will operate the entire condominium. So we are here, this is all explained by somewhat lengthy letter to Chairman Enriquez, March 26th. And then the proposed first amended declaration and consolidation is attached. Let's have the notices of the meetings of the two condominium associations, their consents overwhelmingly to this consolidation. So ask if you have any questions, we'll try to respond to them.
Okay, thank you very much. Attorney Brooks, to my colleagues, do you have any questions? So the commercial space or spaces, is there a restaurant under that umbrella? Yes.
I believe, yes.
Okay, and under the commercial space is managed by the homeowners association.
No, the commercial space is owned by the developer. So he continues to own those units. He pays all of the utilities and
It's common area. It's common area.
it's a common area fee to the last spaces.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I now turn it over to Chief Planner Brooks for your presentation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to read the commission brief dated April 3rd, 2025. It's for application 1992-56D. PIA Marine Homeowners Association is requesting to amend its existing HPR to consolidate two separate existing HPRs for the same building on lot 5089-1-13R-1 and lot 5089-1-13R-R1 into Tamuning under HPRs number 85 and 85A. The intent of the amended declaration and consolidation is to A, consolidate the two HPRs into one HPR divided into two phases, with each phase keeping its original ownership interests, with the condominium operation consolidated under a single document. B, to convert the common area of the existing gym and office into two units to be included into phase two, part of the original 85A, increasing the total number of units to 102 and the total number of units under the proposed single HPR to 204 units. C, to update the relationship between the Homeowners Association and the developer Guam Yamanoi Inc. And remove references to the hotel. E, to formally describe the commercial units within the building. And F, formalize the homeowners' previous agreements to operate the condominium under a single homeowners association. As a result of our review of the submitted request package, planning staff finds that pursuant to the Horizontal Property Regime Act, the request as presented is in good form and context and therefore recommend approval of the applicant's request. And that concludes the commission brief.
Thank you very much, Chief Planner Bruce. To my colleagues, do you have any questions? Yeah, I do have a question. Is this the first time that the commission has had to address this particular type of application?
To consolidate two separate, yes, I believe it is. Ladera Towers went through something similar also with the Attorney Brooks, where they actually had an HPR, withdrew the original HPR and then reapplied for an HPR, but a few years later, I'm sorry, that might not have been you, Attorney Brooks. Okay, sorry. They reapplied they withdrew because there were a lot of issues between the commercial spaces and the residential spaces. So And then also there too, they operated as half as a hotel, half as residential units. So this is a little different in a sense that they've just incorporated a lot of the basic elements of what's required for an HPR into one single document. They got both interests, those involved in 85A and 85, to agree that this is what's going to work best for that building. And we believe that it's still in line with the original program identified under the two separate HPRs that were issued.
Thank you. The only other recollection was Boca Towers when it's multiple units were owned by Guam Hollyhock Corporation. Back in the days, HES. That was back in 1980s, 1990s. Yes, but I don't know if there was any structural type of amendment or, I'm sure they figured it out.
I believe they addressed like the interests owned through this upcoming document. So then it equates to 100%. So the actual interest in the common areas and the apportioned areas that each deed holder has is appropriately addressed, because previously, like they said, there was like 100% interest here and 100% interest here, but it's the same building, and those interests probably equate to maybe like 50. It should have been like 50%, 50% or something to that effect. But this now finally, it actually details what each unit identification is, and then its interest in the entire project.
Thank you very much. I now open the floor for public comment for this application. Don't see any movement. I'll go ahead and close this segment of public comment. I turn it now back over to my colleagues to see if there are any other comments or questions. Okay, there being none, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion for action on application 1992-56.
I'd like to make a motion to approve application 1992-56D based on the April 3rd memorandum and its recommendations.
Okay, thank you very much. A motion has been made by Commissioner Pangilinan. Do I hear a second? Thank you very much, Commissioner Flores. Any discussion on this motion? Okay, there being none, all in favor of approving the motion to approve application 1992-56D as proposed, please signify by saying aye and raising your right hand. Aye, it is unanimous. The application is approved. Best wishes. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Okay, the next item on the agenda is conditional use renewal application number 2011-09G. The applicant, Fargo Living Incorporated, represented by Kyle M. Borja, is requesting an annual renewal of a conditional use permit to allow for continued operation of this temporary workforce housing facility at lot 5161-1-3 in the Municipality of Tamuning. In an M1 light industrial zone. The case planner is Mr. Frank Tucker. So welcome, Mr. Borja. For the record, please state your name and you may proceed.
Hello, my name is Kyle Borja. I'm here representing Fargo for their 7th annual TWHF renewal for 2025-2026. MPI Village has been in operation for 8 years. Currently, MPI Village houses 50 workers and has a maximum capacity of 93 workers. Currently, Fargo has 12 active construction contracts for which these workers are authorized, and all elements of the initially approved TWHF are currently functional and approved. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Borja. Any questions among my colleagues or Mr. Borja? I don't have any. Thank you. I'll go ahead and turn it over to Chief Planner Cruz for your presentation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to be reading a commission brief dated March 26, 2025. Fargo Pacific Inc. Submits its 7th renewal request for its TWHF on lot 5161-1-3, track 260 in Harmon. The TWHF is to accommodate 648 workers in 3 fully contained dormitory structures to be constructed in 3 phases with a single dormitory structure to be built in each phase. Phase 1 is to include a single 3-story workers dormitory structure, access road, staff and guests, bus and delivery truck parking areas, basketball courts, barbecue picnic area, future expansion site, and a security office structure. Phase 1A and Phase 1B will total 216 occupants, with Phase 1A at 54 to 108 occupants and Phase 1B at 108 to 162 occupants. The continued uncertainty of USCIS approval for HTV workers requires Fargo Pacific Inc. to retain its flexibility in temporary workforce housing facility accommodations in order to efficiently serve the approved workers and still be prepared to quickly accommodate additional workers should they be approved in the near future. To date, only Phase 1A has been developed. The applicant states that they have a total of 50 temporary workers residing on site and submits a copy of the dormitory sanitary permit, a site plan, and photos of the complex. The applicant has indicated that all the elements of the approved temporary workforce housing facility for sleeping, kitchen, dining, toilet, shower, and laundry services, security, recreational facilities, transportation services, stormwater retention system, landscaping, perimeter fence are functionally existing to accommodate the existing 50 temporary workers on the site. And lastly, our recommendation. We reviewed the applicant's request, and in line with our findings, the elements of the temporary workforce housing facility as approved by the Commission on February 9, 2017 are still intact, and that the applicant has been and will continue to consult with various government entities to ensure compliance with their requirements. We recommend a favorable Commission review of the request with the following condition. Number 1, that the applicant continues compliance to the conditions as specified in the notice of action dated February 10, 2017, filed under document number 903685. And number 2, that the temporary workforce housing facility will house a maximum of 648 workers. And that concludes the staff report.
Thank you very much, Chief Planner Cruz. My colleagues, do you have any questions? I don't have any questions. I now open the floor up for public comment. I don't see any, so I'm going to close this segment of public comment. I now turn it back over to my colleagues to have any further discussion on this particular application. I don't have any. I'll go ahead and entertain a motion for action on application 2011-09G.
I'd like to make a motion to approve application number 2011-09G based on the recommendations given on March 2025.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Pangilinan. Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Flores. Any discussion on this motion? Any? There being none, all in favor of approving the motion to approve application 2011-09G, please signify by saying aye and raising your right hand. Thank you very much. It is unanimous. The application is approved. Thank you, Mr. Bora.
Thank you very much.
So item D, application number 2000-12J. The applicant, Reliable Builders Incorporated, represented by Colin Borja, is requesting an annual renewal request of a conditional use permit to allow for continued operation of its temporary workforce housing facility on lot 5160-6-3 in the Municipality of Tamuning in an M1 light industrial zone. Case planner is Mr. Frank Taiwan. See, Ms. Warren, you're here. Just for the record, please state your name and you may proceed.
Thank you. My name is Colin Borja again, and I'm here representing Reliable Builders Inc. This is their 10th annual renewal for their TWHF for 2025-2026. Reliable Village has been in operation for 14 years. Currently, Reliable Village houses 75 workers. and anticipates an increase of 50 workers, bringing the total to 125 by December 2025. Reliable Village has a maximum capacity of 153 workers. Reliable Builders Inc. Has 5 active construction projects for which these workers are contracted. All elements of the initially approved TWHF are currently functional and permitted. That concludes my.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Borja. To my colleagues, do you have any questions? I don't have any questions, and I'll turn it over to Chief Planner Cruz for your presentation.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to be reading a commission brief dated March 26, 2025. For Reliable Builders, Inc. submits its 10th annual renewal request to allow for the continued operation of its TWHF to house up to 211 workers on lot 5160-6-3 in Tamuning. The TWHF is a fully contained 36 symmetrical 3-bedroom residential unit community to include existing elements for sleeping, toilet and shower facilities, laundry, cooking, security, including fire and medical emergency response capability, recreational facilities, transportation services, on-site water retention system, landscaping, perimeter fence, and rules and regulations that address security and safety practices. The applicant in its annual renewal request package provides a copy of the approved site plan, a copy of the Public Health and Social Services workers, dormitory and sanitary permits, and photos of the complex. The applicant included a statement of compliance that all the elements of the approved facility still persist, and on March 25th, 2025, the case planner conducted a site visit and finds that the facility is well kept, clean, volleyball, basketball elements are existing, landscaping is in place and maintained, and on-site gardening still exists. Onto our recommendation. It's our position that the applicant's continuing coordination with the permitting agencies finds that the applicant is complying to the conditions imposed, have been and continues to work with the appropriate government entities in adhering to said agencies' requirements and ensuring that best management practices are in place. In line with the above, we recommend a favorable commission review of the request with the following conditions. Number 1, that the applicant continues compliance to the conditions as specified on the notice of action dated October 14, 2011, filed under document number 828333, as amended by notice of action dated October 23, 2015, filed under document number 887022. And number 2, that the temporary workforce housing facility will house a maximum of 211 workers. And that concludes the commission brief.
Okay, thank you very much, Chief Planner Cruz. To my colleagues, do you have any questions? No questions, just an observation, taking a look at the site photos and what a nice little compound.
They do garden in the place too, so they have these little planters where they plant like a papaya.
That's
Stuff like
a
that.
far cry from warehouse.
Yes, yes. This is actually, this is a little bit of how the kind of design is. It's all like individual houses. So it's kind of stuff like that. But it works.
Thank you very much. And now I open up the floor for public comment related to this particular application. Okay, I don't see any movement. I'll go ahead and close for public comment. I bring it back to my colleagues to see if any further comments regarding this application. Okay. Okay, so I now turn it over to my colleagues to entertain a motion for action on application number 2000-12J.
I'd like to make a motion to approve application number 2000-12J on the recommendation made on March 26, 2025.
Okay, thank you very much. Motion has been made by Commissioner Paglia. Do I hear a second?
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Flores. Any discussion on this motion? There being none, all in favor of approving the motion to approve application 200-12J, please signify by saying aye, raising your right hand. Aye, unanimous. The application is approved. Best wishes, Mr. Morehead.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, I'd like to turn the floor over to Deputy Director Thiston for any announcements or additional business for the commission.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I have no announcement or additional business.
Okay, thank you very much. I also turn it over to Chief Planner Cruz, for, any information on the next GLUC meeting. And, also I'd like to ask for the availability of our members.
So Madam Chair, we are not tracking any agenda items for the April 24th meeting, but we will email everybody if we do have any items for the second Thursday in May.
Thank you very much. I do want to acknowledge that, the legislature has, voted, to approve the, nomination of, Mr. Gerald Bldg to serve on the Guam Land Use Commission. I don't know if we are tracking what the next steps are for that.
So my understanding is he'll be sworn in tomorrow.
Oh.
And then once he's sworn in, we have a welcome binder for him to give him some background on the commission, and then we'll start get his contact information and start including him in the distribution.
Okay, thank you very much. So the assumption is that he will join us at the next scheduled meeting.
Yes, yes.
Okay. That's a long awaited nomination. Thank you very much for that update. And of course, if anyone's available for the swearing in, what time is that?
30 at the
It's at 1:30.
to possible clock at the governor's large conference room.
Don't know if I'm available, but I just want to make sure that everyone is there. Okay, so our congratulations to Mr. Bldg, and then we're looking forward to seeing him in our next scheduled meeting. If there is no further business, I'd like to entertain a motion for adjournment. Thank you very much. Motion made to adjourn by Commissioner Brooks, here, second. Thank you very much, Commissioner Bldg. All in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying aye, raise your hand. Thank you very much. It is unanimous. I do have 2:23 on our clock. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, staff. Thank you to all members of the commission and everyone, director, and all of our attendees. Thank you.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, everyone.